this for bus service. Charlie's Taxi gives you a free dram. Well, he never said if it was free.
We'll all pay in the end, don't worry.
Charlie's Taxi, we got a dram as we're getting driven to the Bothy on Eigg. Well, hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. So we've come to the Isle of Eigg. So there's 5 of us. There's Willie, Kenny, Gary and John, and we're here to take some photographs. So we're going to have a wee photography few days. We're here for 6 days, so we'll share our adventures with you and maybe some topics throughout the course, and I might make a series of videos of this. But this is the bothy that we're staying at. We're at Lake Bay in the Isle of Eigg. And as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. That over there is the Isle of Skye, and that over there is the Isle of Rum. So what we'll do is join us and let's see where some of these adventures take us. We finally made it. We're now at Singing Sands. I forgot the name there. Singing Sands. Alright, so we're finally here on the Singing Sands, and I've been taking a few drone shots, but the sun's went away, so I'm just trying to get some moody atmospheric shots just now. So effectively what I'm doing is I'm using my wide angle lens. I've got a polarizer on and I've got a 0.6 ND grad just so that I can get a lot of detail in the sky, and I'm shooting at a 30th of a second f9 ISO 100. And it's nice. It's just, we're just waiting on the sun coming back through the clouds. And the reason this beach is called Singing Sands is because the sand in the beach is quartz. And what happens is on a dry day when it's windy, the wind moves the sand and the sand makes a noise, hence why the beach is called Singing Sands. But it's a beautiful beach. You can see the colours of the beach. I've had drone footage, so hopefully through the drone footage you'll get to see the splendour of this place. It's absolutely beautiful. The 5 of us are the only ones here. So I've got John taking photos on my left hand side, Kenny's on the rock. So what I'll do is I'll move around and I'll share the images that I've took here with you just now. Right, so I'm just walking along the beach. We were just chatting with John there. It's actually in the lower light. It's so much easier to see the back of your camera on the LCD screen, because in the sun it's really difficult to see it. But I'll turn round and you can see where I'm walking and how beautiful this area is. It's absolutely stunning. Oh, that's a nice composition. So as we're walking, I've just seen this composition where you've got a trail of water, and when I say composition and leading lines, you've got this trail of water coming in for the bottom left hand side, you've got this cluster of rock that then follows and twists out, and it looks as though it's going towards the sea. So what I'll do is I'll stop, I'll take this image. Obviously there's no light, so if there's no light and it's going to be, we could make it high contrast, we could flip it to black and white, It's something I don't really do, but what I'll do is I'll take a couple of shots, I'll do a colour, I'll do a black and white version, and you can let me know in the comments if you like them. Alright, so I will actually make my way to the end of this beach, but I found another composition here where when you stand and look at the rock, you've got a green rock facing the sea. If you just turn round a wee bit and move to the side, you can see that gap between the two rocks. So from a compositional point of view, I've got a wee stream of water that's leading in, and it looks as if it's going in between the two gap. You've got a little stream of water following the side and hitting the face of the green rock, and then you've got that viewpoint all the way through that gap to the Isle of Rum. So I'll take these shots and I'll share those shots with you now. Alright, so I finally made it to the end of the beach, but what I'm trying to get here is the tide's going out, but sometimes the water's coming up really high. And what I've done is I've put in an ND filter. This could be a big wave, so I need to watch. Yep, this is definitely a big wave. So my camera's sinking. Right, so that's not going to work. I'll need to wait, find a new hole. Right, so I'll need to take that shot again. I'm just watching because those waves are pretty strong. So effectively what I'm trying to do is slow the shutter speed down so that when the waves come in and the water recedes, then I get some smoothness in the lines and we get a nice soft effect. So rather than just have a frozen wave, I want to get all that blur out of it and just try and get that milky look as it comes through. And I was hoping I would get that for these rocks, but there's a rock here that the waves are coming in, and it's hard to predict when a strong wave's going to come in. So there's a big wave just now. I just don't have enough water coming closer, but the danger for me is if I move closer, that big wave's going to come in and I'll get soaked. So, right, what I'll do is, there's a big huge wave coming now. Wow, right, I'll just keep pressing. Wow, here it comes. So what I want is, I don't really want the water coming into me. What I do want is the water receding. So luckily that didn't. And then what you'll get is, or what I should get, is nice swirls and patterns. So when the foam is going back, look, if we're lucky, we'll get some swirls, and then we'll get some lines as the foam recedes back into the sea. And I've got some foam going on the right hand side here as well. So who knows, this could work or it might not. I'm just going to have a wee nosy and see if I can see. Actually, I might be lucky. Yeah, I've got some swirls. So there's a wee drop come in. Right, what I'll do is I'll keep staying about here. I'll move to that rock. I might move a wee bit further round, or I might stand on those rocks, and who knows, let's see. And I'll share these images with you now. Okay, so I've came round the other side of that big rock because we're starting to get a bit of the sun. So the other thing, the reason I've came here is you can get a different perspective of the sea coming over the rocks. But just to be a wee bit different, what I've tried to do, I've put the 10 stop filter on and I've got my shutter speed set to 20 seconds. So that'll completely flatten out the water. But what we want to try and get is some of the water coming over the rocks and leaving like a milky curtain on top of it. But again, it's like everything else, it'll all be dependent on the timing of the waves and when they come in. So when I looked at the histogram there, both of my sides were just in and no more. So I'm hoping that that image might work. Then what I was going to do was take my long lens out, switch lenses, and then see if we can get some of the waves that are hitting the rocks in the distance, but in front of the Isle of Rum. And that could make a nice shot. There's a fishing boat out in the sea as well, so with the long lens I might be able to catch the fishing boat. Yeah, so there's still lots to do. I'm on the opposite side of the beach to Gary and Kenny and John and Willie, but what I'll do is I'll finish here with some long lens shots. But right away, just now, I'll share these images that I'm taking with the long exposure, and we'll catch up when I've got the long lens on the camera. Right, so I put the long lens on and I've increased my shutter speed because I've got a 250th of a second shutter speed. I'm trying to freeze some of these waves that are shooting over the rocks here. So there's a big wave coming. Let's see if we can catch that. Oh, it's not very big. Right, let's wait again. Here's another big wave. And let's see if we can get a splash. Oh, that's quite disappointing. So here's another one. Let's see if this one works. Hey, right, so we've got one or two. Here's another big wave. Just try to see if that's going to have a big splash. Nah, not really. So what I'll do is I'll take quite a few shots here with a long lens, but what I'm also going to do is I'm going to look towards the other end of the beach and I'll take shots across the water, and you never know, they might turn out. And because I'm finished at this end, I'm probably going to take a couple of distant shots of the Isle of Rum, and then there's some high waves, some bright waves at the very edge of the rocks over there. So I'll see if I can focus in on those rocks and get Rum in the background, and then that might make an interesting image. And once I've finished taking images here, I'll share those images with you. Alright, so that's me finished at this end of the beach for now anyway. We've had intermittent sun, but I'm now heading back over to the other side and I'll meet up with the guys, and we'll catch up when I'm over the other side of the beach. Alright, so I've come to the other side of the beach. That little cave entrance there, it's really thin. There's only enough room for one person. We did a wee recce yesterday and we found there's a waterfall inside that cave. It's absolutely stunning. So what I'll do is I need to watch because it's really slippery because of all this seaweed. And I'll make my way into the cave and I'll catch up with you so we can see what kind of shots we can get. Alright, safely down the rocks there again. We've got that beautiful view of the Isle of Rum. As I come round, Gary and I were talking yesterday saying that this shot here would be a beautiful shot, like an infinity pool heading down to Rum. So what I'll do is once we've taken shots of the waterfall, we'll come back, we'll put the polarizer on and we'll see if we can get some shots there. But let's walk up here. Yesterday we had our boots on, so we didn't have our wellies on like we have today. So it should be easier to walk in to this cave with the wellies on. So, alright, so watch my footing. As you can see, it's quite deep in certain areas. But if I swing this over, oh, look at this. How magical is this? And yesterday I got an absolutely cracking photo. I'm just going to keep walking in. I couldn't get this far yesterday because I had no wellies. So look at that. And then there's a little hole in the wall. I can imagine the noise being quite a lot to the microphone. So let's get back out. And what I'll, whoa, I nearly fell. And what I'll do is, I won't use the microphone, I'll take shots. Just because of the noise will be horrendous probably with the water. And I'll take those shots and I'll share those images with you. But before I turn the camera off, you need to see the view that I can see right now. How beautiful is that? That is absolutely gorgeous. Right, I'm going to share my images with you now and we'll catch back soon. So I hope you enjoyed those images because that waterfall is very, very special, and a massive thanks to Kenny McGuckin for organising this trip, because for me that is one of the most beautiful waterfall locations I've ever seen or ever been in. But look at this. I'm talking about Kenny McGuckin, there he is there, taking these photos. So what I'll do is, I'm going to use this area as a kind of, not a panoramic, but I'm going to use it as a kind of infinity type shot, where I'll try and get low down and see if this will work as similar to like an infinity pool that you would go on holiday. Especially this pool here, if I can get down really low, we'll see if we can get some form of infinity shot over to Rum. There's one here, but that looks really, really deep. There's a little channel here, but I'm not sure that's going to work. So what I'll do is I'll try them and then we'll catch up soon. Alright, so I've kind of got an infinity shot here where I've got the edge of the water facing. We've got Kenny walking into the scene, but we'll take a shot of Kenny and we'll add him in. We'll just wait until he's in the middle of the infinity pool. There we go. We've captured him. Right, so I'm going to do a landscape shot of this. It's probably just a pond, but from this level it looks like an infinity pool that it's never ending. But I have got separation from the pool because I've then got the rocks, I've then got the sea, and then I've got the Isle of Rum. And because the sun's out just now, it's absolutely stunning. So I've also got this trickle of water going down on the right hand side. But what I'll do is I'll turn the camera around and we'll get a portrait shot of the infinity pool. And then what might be nice, I need to watch because the sun's right behind me now and I'm not casting my shadow, but I'll take another shot down the right hand side at portrait level, and we'll see what views we can get, because some of those lines are quite interesting. I'm going to move closer into the pool and I'll take some shots of the rocks with the green seaweed, and then I'll move closer on the right hand side, and when I do, I'll share all those images with you now. Alright, so I've come down to the edge of the beach, had a wonderful time up there, and hopefully those infinity type pool shots have turned out. And I also went forward in the pool and took shots, so hopefully you really like those images. Where I am now, what I'm going to start to do is, still keeping Rum in the background, I've got these two big rocks here I'm not sure if the tide has turned and if it's coming in, but what we'll try and do is get some shots of the water, because the colours now the sun are out are absolutely spectacular. Get different gradients, say blue, aqua, blue, dark blue as we start to go out towards Rum. So what I'll do is I'll take some shots here and let's see how we get on. So I was going to leave I'm going to stand on this rock just so my tripod doesn't sink. Right, the water's coming in quite fast actually. So let me get set up and let me see what we can do here. Right, so I've got a 50th of a second f11. I've got ISO 100, my histogram and my exposure bang on. And right, so that's just a simple shot. I've put those two boulders in the middle. Now I'll zoom in just to give them a tighter crop, and I'll put them a bit to the bottom right hand side, and I'll take two shots just in case. I'm using f11 so it should be sharp, and then I'll just focus in on the island, take the shot, and that's nice. So the other thing I've noticed while I'm standing here, there's a lot of smaller rocks behind those two rocks, but I've actually got separation between those rocks and then the water, and to be fair it's just pot luck because I never actually noticed them. But the colours of the seaweed on this rock contrasts amazing with the brown on that rock, and it's really, really cool. So I'll take that shot again. I'm going to see if I can get a wee bit closer just so I don't get soaked. I've got my waterproofs and my wellies on anyway. Now, I'm going to take a photograph. There are rocks all over this beach that I've got some perfectly, what they look like as drilled holes. So I'll take some shots of these rocks and I'll share them with you as I'm talking. And it would be great if somebody could drop in the comments if you know why those rocks get that formation. We've been having a chat, we're guessing it could be stones, but gee whiz, when you look at them, it's hard to think that stones are going to do that, specifically in one place. So I'll take those images, I'll share those images, hopefully you've seen them as I'm talking, and if you do know what they are, if you don't mind putting them in the comments, that would be absolutely fantastic. So what else I'll do is I will keep doing my landscape shots here. I might do a portrait shot. I'm not sure if that'll work because I'm quite close. I'll try it, and then once I've taken 2 or 3 different shots, I'll share those images with you now. Right, so I've just climbed on top of this rock just so that I've got a higher elevation, and I'm using these rocks in front of me as foreground interest, and I've also got I've put the 10 stop filter on, and I've got a 20-second shutter speed, and I'm hoping that it smooths out all the water around the rocks here. And what I'm really looking for is that kind of soft arty effect. So that looks quite nice. I'm going to try a portrait shot and just see how that works. I'm keeping an eye on the water because that camera's up there in the tripod, and as soon as the water hits the sand it will sink. But I think the tide's definitely coming in. It's getting further and further in. So I'll just keep my eye on it because I don't want to get caught stranded. Oh, that's really nice. Right, I'm going to go back to port landscape. I'll turn the camera around, and what I'm going to try and do is get a shot. Try and get a shot across the beach, and the hope that the water does come up a wee bit further, and that could be a really nice image. Right, I'll take 2 or 3 more shots here, and then I'll share those images with you, and then we'll catch back at the next location. Alright, so I've come over here because I was talking about those rocks earlier that had all the holes in them. There's a whole series or cluster of rocks here that have the very same, there's quite a lot of them, and they're quite distinctive. But what I've also got is a couple of slithers of rocks here that are acting like a leading line that's taking me through this cluster of rocks towards the sea. And we've got rum in the background, so absolutely lovely. I'm still using a long exposure because I want that milkiness of the water to come round the stones. Right, it's coming in closer and closer. So what I'll do is I'll wait a couple of minutes until the water gets to my level, and then I'll share those images back with you. We're just walking along the sands, and if you hear Gary's feet, this is why the beach is called Singing Sands, because it's all a quartz sand rubbing together. Alright, well, we're going to end the video here. We've had an amazing morning and early afternoon. Thanks to Kenny for bringing us here to the Singing Sands, which you'll have probably heard already because Gary was making tunes as he was walking along. So has everybody enjoyed it?
Wonderful.
Great.
Wonderful.
And there's a wee bit bonus footage that we're just about to show you, where we all went into the waterfall and got our photos taken. The 5 brave souls. We are going to do something that was an idea of my wife Carlan
And the wine.
and the wine, where the 3 of us are going to stand under that waterfall and get our photograph taken. And we maybe add that on video just for a bit of fun, although it's going to be a bit sore walking on these stones, as you'll see. John's ready, Gary's getting ready, so we'll try and film as much as we can, but hopefully the photographs turn out.
Hurry up! Fuck around!
Ready? Right. You're not under the water.
You're on.
Hey Gary.
Go!
Right, one more.
Hang on.
Oh no, go back.
You move. Two seconds.
1, 2, wait, that's it. Yeah, you want that one. Do that one. So hope you like the video. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much to the guys. It's been absolutely brilliant. Thanks Kenny for organising it.
Well done, cheers.
If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because you know it's free. And if you press the bell notification, that'll let you know the next time I post a video. So thanks very much for watching, and here's to the next video.